and many, this way of baby factories and so many other things like that. The level of insecurity, because for a lot of, male children, as much as we also need to pay attention to them, for some of them, they can say, actually, still survive. It's a patriarchal society. We have to realize that, and we cannot deceive ourselves that it is.
Always be able to fend
they will still find a way. But for a lot of the female children, they'll probably be open to exploitation. They are vulnerable. God bless you. That's the right word. They are vulnerable, and for the fact that even the safety of their life is also at stake, because we've been having cases of rapes and so many sexual assaults and the likes like that. That have happened. So at the end of the day, it jeopardizes the future of some of these children. And that's why we really need to also pay attention to it. Okay. Then for the fact that if you actually want a better future for our society, the first school the child will come into contact with is the mother. It's his mother. And because beyond just what you probably teach, that you think beyond just the acquisition of certificate, is also the standard of living that you expect of an average family. And it is usually these mothers that are there to really, take care of the home front. So what kind of life? Because if you look at it, okay, we talk about the fact that we are having difficulty probably even with, immunization of our children. Now, who are those that take care of these children? Who are those that probably ought to take them to the hospitals? But if you have people that probably they don't have anything upstairs, they don't have, the intellectual capacity, emotionally they are not sound, so they don't even know what to do. When there are health challenges, how should they take care of their kids and so many other things? Like when they lack all that, then automatically the society will actually be the one that will suffer it. Yes. And that's why we see, if we give attention to the female children, our society will be better for it.
Yeah, Mr. Kazeem, although I still do believe we need an international day of the boy child. Let's say we need to empower our
Don't
girls.
worry, we will look at it.
Now, speaking of empowerment, thank you very much, Nima. I'll be expecting a proper.
All right, I'll get back to you on it.
So, how do you think we can actually empower our girls to become advocates for their own education?
To give them their voice, to speak out for themselves.
I think one of the things we really need to do is actually provide opportunities for them to really express and, themselves. Let us hear from them. I think it's important. As much as we are males and we are trying to speak on their behalf, I think they are in the best position to really advocate, their own issues and their challenges. So giving them the opportunity is something that we can really, work out. Then beyond that is also the fact that we also need a lot of this engagement at different levels, community levels, religious levels, traditional society levels, governmental levels, and the likes like that, where at the end of the day, we allow these women to really showcase what they can do. And at the same time, also show to those who are probably out of school that, see, your life can actually be better if you have this. By using women champions, as advocates in these communities. That I'm watching the TV and I can say, so a woman can actually even be a newscaster. A woman can be a minister. A woman can be this. A woman can be that. I tell a lot of, some of my own students, even in the university, and I say, see, who are your role models? There was a lady I was speaking and I said, see, go and read about the following people. And I mentioned Amina Mohammed. That's the Deputy Secretary General of the United Nations, a Nigerian. Do you get it? I said, go and read about Professor Dora Akunyili of blessed memory and see if at all probably you get any kind of inspiration from such a person. Look at, we just, discussed, the first, Ladequali, that Potter. And at the end of the day, you look at so you can have someone like this. Ngozi Okonjo-Iweala, the Deputy or Director General
of the World Trade Organization.
Of the World Trade Organization, yeah. A former minister, a former coordinating minister of the economy, and the likes like that. So if you make them see that, we can also become these people. And what's the key to it? Get educated. That you have control of your own life, of your own destiny. We don't have to actually be a burden on probably your husband or a man or someone that will probably just treat you, anyhow, and see you as a liability, not an asset. Someone who will not probably feel like, okay, the only place for you is actually in the other room.
In the kitchen.
Or in the kitchen. Those Those are the kind of things that we really need to see. So we need more, engagement, allowing them to showcase themselves. Then again, try to hear from their perspective on how they think they can be better served by the society. That it's a different thing for you to think, okay, this is the way I can help you. It's another thing for some person to say, this is the kind of help that I need.
Yes.
Then we need to talk about this issue of security. Yes, the security, because I'm trying to imagine that. Look at the case of those, girls that were kidnapped in Chibok and so many other society, communities in Nigeria because they went to school. How do you think it would be easy to convince others that probably escaped such to say, let's go back to school the following day? Say, okay, I see. I can see how very much you like me. So you want me to actually experience the same thing, and that's probably for some people that's the end of their formal education. So John.
I actually believe that we can draw out an entire conversation on that, but because of time, I'll let Nima
Alright, so my final question, Said would take the one after me. So my final question would be, what role can traditional rulers, leaders, and community leaders, the agents of change basically, play in promoting the girl-child education?
Well, that's a very good one. Because we feel like, see, a lot of time when we talk about governance, we always probably just look at, the federal government, the state government, and the local government. The reality is, a lot of these practices are perpetrated within the level of communities. And there are community leaders, there are traditional rulers who are closer to these people. They live with them. A lot of our own political leaders don't live with us.
Yes.
And they are far disconnected from our everyday realities. But a lot of these traditional rulers, they live within the same community with us. So they realize and they see what is going on. Imagine if they are the advocates of, girl-child education. Or if they decide that as a member of this community, it's either you enroll your child in this school, or you leave the community. Imagine that. Look at when we were trying to talk about polio. It was until we decided to use traditional rulers that it became effective. Now imagine they are the ones we are also now using to champion this issue of girl-child education. Look, using the religious leaders as well, because they are these are the functional units of the society, the basic, the fundamental units at the grassroots level. These are the people that we can actually use to champion this cause. So that at the end of the day, they meet with them, some on a daily basis, some on a weekly basis. They interact, they see these things, they see the realities, and they know how well you can actually come in. So at the end of the day, using them will be more effective than probably just government somewhere sitting down in one office, churning out policies and without looking at how well it is being implemented, at the grassroots level. So when the people at the grassroots are the ones implementing these policies and they give the report, and you allow the people who are supposed to be the beneficiaries of whatsoever, agenda or programs that you're implementing, the would-be beneficiaries are the ones also now telling us, this is what we have acquired, this is what we have got from what you have brought to us, and you're able to do, periodic assessment, because that's one other thing we don't do. We don't do periodic assessment to see how well this implementation is actually going, so that we can identify what we call the PIGS, policy implementation gaps, and see where we can plug the loopholes. So by the time we actually come up with some of these strategies, then I think it will be easier for us to actually to drive home the point. Then again, there must be consequences for some of the, these wrong actions. If, for instance, as a state, you're supposed to domesticate the Child Rights Act, or you are supposed to do this, and probably decide to come up with points that if, as a state, this is the level we rate, the level of girl child education, the percentage of girls that are enrolled in your school, I would say probably the state with the highest will probably get additional resources or funds from the government. Or for those probably who fail to implement something that was collectively agreed to, probably there will be sanctions. See, these things will be properly implemented when people know that there are sanctions for it. But for the fact that there are no sanctions, see, impunity reigns. It becomes prevalent, and people just behave anyhow they like. Look at this issue of matching grant that I would have said, for instance, for government, that if that is the way some of these states decide to do, withdraw the money from source. Don't tell them to bring it. See, deduct it from their, from source. It is the balance that you give to them, and you send it to UB, so that at the end of the day, the suburbs can have enough funds to be able to implement whatsoever plans of government is. See, by the time we start coming up some of these, consequences, when people see that there are consequences for wrong actions and there are also reward for doing the right thing, then there is a basis for which people can actually even compete to do something that is good.
Yes, yeah, thank you very much, Mr. KAZEEM. If I were to summarize everything you have said in like maybe one or two words, I would say we need like an efficient quality assurance and quality control, like structure
Specifically for the girl child.
Exactly, for the girl child,
for the
right?
girl
So,
children out of school.
so government, whatever representatives are turning out policies, who is ensuring the implementation of these policies, and yeah, so who is punishing them too for policies not implemented. On the final note, right? On a final note, so what specific policies or initiatives would you like to see implemented, and how can our audience support girls' education initiatives, in Nigeria?
First, I think that the issue of out of school, population, or especially within the girl child, is something that happens at the level of each family. So for us, for everyone, not just even the government, I'm looking at a situation where all of us take it as a point of duty that in my own family, do I have any girl that is out of school?
Or we should take it that personally.
Let us take it on a personal note, because that's the only way. See, because the truth is, if you think that you're safe simply because your own children are educated and they are okay, see, those that will actually threaten the lives of your own children you are taking care of are those older children that we are not taking care of today. So their headache must be our headache. And we must adopt, this, approach that will say that, see, I'm okay because you're okay. If you are not okay, then I'm not okay. See, it's the adult mentality that I'm okay simply because I'm okay because you're okay. See, if you see it from that perspective, at the end of it, take it on a personal note. Again, is beyond probably just our immediate families, on our streets, in the house that I live, do I have any child that is supposed to be in school that is out of school? In our various religious houses, who are those kids that you see probably come to, the worship centers? And probably let us find out if at all they are in school or not, and see how we can intervene. If at all there is a need for us to actually bring governmental agencies to be involved, then let us use that. Because at the end of the day, we're talking about the collective well-being of our society. Then it is something that all must be involved. I'm looking at a situation where there could be this, discussion and an annual assessment of how far we are to eradicating the issue of out-of-school children in Nigeria. On an annual basis, something that should be, because a lot of times we leave these discussions to the international donor agencies, and I find it very, very ridiculous that it is someone from UK, someone from Finland, someone from Norway, someone from Sweden that should be telling Nigerians how we should approach the issue of girl child education, or how we should, work or give attention to out of school children in Nigeria. Is it not a shame on us? So I'm looking at a situation where everybody, the government, the private sector, philanthropists, NGOs, civil society organizations, traditional rulers, religious leaders, the mass media, the education experts themselves.
And even the schools themselves.
That's why I'm saying the education, because a lot of them work in the schools. That all of us must see this thing as a collective responsibility, and that we will not stop. See, we can achieve 100%. Let me tell you, Palestinians are facing death currently. Do you know what? They have over 99% of literacy rates, even in their difficult situation. So what excuse do we have?
I mean, we are definitely not a war zone, so how could we be living like refugees?
Unfortunately, that's why I feel like for some of our leaders, what they are doing is actually a criminal offense, because they're actually destroying the future of this country on the platter of politics and personal benefit. And this is something that has to change for us to have a better Nigeria, in the nearest future. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Mr. KAZEEM. We really appreciate your input, and yes, Nima, back to you. Oh, okay, yeah, that's all we can take on the discuss segment for today. We really like to appreciate our in-house analyst, Mr. OLUBUNMI KAZEEM, for, as usual, the beautiful insights he has provided onto this program. I mean, we could allow him to keep talking, but we are a program bounded by time. We'll go. No, we will go on another quick break now. When we return, education today continues. Please stay with us.
Welcome back. Wow, the discourse was quite heated, and I hope that all stakeholders on this girl child education, out of school children, I hope they do the needful and act accordingly. So, you are welcome to the Words on the Marble segment of Education Today, where we take a look at memorable quotes that are educational and inspirational to everyone. And today we have a quote from Safina Hussein. According to Safina, girls' education is the closest thing we have to a silver bullet to help solve some of the world's most difficult problems. Once again, Safina said, girls' education is the closest thing we have to a silver bullet to help solve some of the world's most difficult problems. And that's our words on the marble for today. Miss. All right, so do we have a winner to the question? Okay. Where don't you people want to win our gifts? Okay. Oh. So the winner, Said, announce the winner. You are the one that asked the question, so tell them who the
There is
the answer rather. Tell them who
okay, the answer.
All right.
So I asked who is like printed on the back
of
our banknote. 20. I mean, perhaps we've lost touch with that particular note since it's been a while. But
yes, yes, that's true. Some people may be trying to find the answer on the 20 note, but they can't even see any.
Exactly. So
any
are hardly
around.
These days. I mean, they can't even buy groundnut or sugar. So
Exactly. That's where we find ourselves.
Yeah, Miss Ladi Kwali would forever be immortalized, regardless of this currency, the situation of inflation in the country.
Yes, the devaluation of the naira.
She is the one on the back of the 20 naira banknote. She's a Nigerian potter, a ceramicist, and an educator. So that's the answer to the question, Nando.
Ladi Kwali. And she's not just a potter, she's an award-winning, internationally recognized potter. So they should not think it's just one of the roadside potters. No. So she's one of the girls, representing the girl child out there. We're grateful for her existence. Yeah. And this is to inform you, our esteemed listeners, that you can sponsor this program or advertise your products and services and also showcase your event on our program. You can do this by calling 0703-953-8998. The number again is 0703-953-8998 or 0702-507-4268. Let us know how you feel about today's program through our Facebook platform, www.facebook.com/education today, on Instagram, education_2figure2day, and then you can send us an email via educationmediaservices@gmail.com.
Many thanks to the entire crew of Education Today and the management of Light Radio. Our supervising producer has been Till Wise. Many thanks to you and Mr. Feyi and Zikola for Mr. Zikola for being in the control room.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. We appreciate your support. And we like we announced earlier, we are open to sponsorship of any kind of this program to keep it going. You can reach us on 0702-507-4268 or you send us an email to educationmediaservices@gmail.com.
And just before we go, I'd like to, thank the following people for joining us on the program. We have Mr. Ahmad Ibrahim, Mr. Ayedun Latif, Miss Omolara. We have T-Wise. Thank you for joining, nevertheless. We have Mr. Olaleko and Mr. Adeniji. Thank you all for joining. And for those of you who would be watching this later, please do make it a date with us, same time, same station, next week. Till we come your way, I remain Nima Ibrahim.
And I am Said Aremo.
Goodbye.
Education Today continues next week. Goodbye.
Goodbye.
بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم
لبيك اللهم لبيك.
Congratulations to the intending pilgrims. Embarking on Hajj and Umrah pilgrimage is made easy and stress-free with Al Hanif Hajj and Umrah Global Services. We provide maximum comfort through our excellent services. Our hotel is located near the Haram in Mecca and Medina for unhindered access to acts of worship. We leave no stone unturned as far as the historical places are concerned. Amir Al Hanif Hajj and Umrah Global Services is always available to attend to your needs. Al Hanif Hajj and Umrah Global Services is located at number 42 Isibo Luo Street, Egbeda, Lagos, Nigeria. Telephone numbers 070-388-60007 or 080-233-10185. In Saudi Arabia, plus 966-583-971-622. Email hanifview2016@gmail.com. Al Hanif Hajj and Umrah Global Services. Lillahi wal Rasul.